The scrapyard stretched as far as Liara's eyes could see, a wasteland of broken ships, twisted metal, and machines that no longer worked. The air smelled of rust and oil, and clouds of dust rose every time a heavy crane moved scraps around. She could hear the occasional groan of metal against metal, and the screech of scavenger drones searching for anything valuable. Liara tried to shift her weight on the ground, but her legs would not respond. The injury she had suffered weeks ago had left her paralyzed, and now her own family had abandoned her here. They had said she was useless, that she was a burden they could no longer carry. They had left her in the cold among the sharp metal scraps to die. Liara's green eyes flicked over the piles of rusted ships and broken machinery. Her chest hurt, not just from the pain in her body but from the betrayal she felt. She had trusted her family, loved them, and now they had left her to face this world alone. Her small alien body shook, both from fear and from the chill of the wind that swept through the scrapyard. She tried to cry, but tears seemed to dry before they could fall. Hunger gnawed at her stomach, and she realized she had not eaten anything for over a day. Despite her condition, Liara refused to give up. She had always been clever, even as a child, and she began to look around for anything she could use to survive. A piece of broken metal became a tool. A half-collapsed crate became a shelter from the wind. She worked slowly, each movement a struggle, each effort draining her strength, but she managed to make a small corner that was slightly safer than the open scrapyard. Still, she could not hide from the dangers that came at night. Scavenger creatures, small and feral, crept along the piles of metal, their eyes glowing in the dark. They were looking for food, and they would not hesitate to attack a small, helpless alien like her. Liara held her breath as one creature sniffed near her hiding spot. Its claws scraped against the metal, and for a moment it seemed as if it would find her. She stayed perfectly still, praying it would leave. After what felt like an eternity, the creature moved on, leaving her alone again. As night fell, the temperature dropped sharply. Liara shivered and curled up as best she could. Her mind drifted to memories of her family's home, warm and bright. Her father's voice, her mother's laughter, it all seemed like another life now. The reality was cold, harsh, and unforgiving, and she knew she could not survive much longer on her own. Far above the scrapyard, a small human ship appeared on the horizon. It was sleek, silver, and unlike anything Liara had ever seen. The ship's light scanned the scrapyard as it slowly descended. Inside, the human pilot, a man named Ethan, adjusted his controls. He was an explorer, traveling across distant planets to help those in need and recover lost technology. He had heard rumors of a valuable signal coming from this scrapyard and had come to investigate. As Ethan landed, his sensors detected movement among the debris. At first, he assumed it was a stray animal or perhaps a scavenger drone, but then he saw her. Liara, small and fragile, was struggling to move, her legs useless beneath her. Something in Ethan stirred at the sight. He had seen many things in his travels, but the helplessness and fear in her eyes pulled at him in a way he could not ignore. Ethan quickly suited up and made his way through the scrapyard. He had to be careful. The piles of metal were unstable, and one wrong step could crush him. When he reached Liara, he crouched beside her. "Hey," he said gently. "I'm here to help. Can you hear me?" Liara's eyes widened. She had never seen a human before, and she did not know whether to trust him. She shook her head slightly, tears brimming in her eyes. Ethan did not push. He reached into his pack and pulled out a small device, a mobility exosuit designed for injured beings. "I know you can't walk," he said softly. "This can help you move." "Let me help you." Liara hesitated. She had been abandoned by those who were supposed to love her, and now a stranger was offering help. Could she trust him? Slowly, she nodded. Ethan worked quickly, fitting the exosuit around her legs and torso. The suit was light but strong, and as he activated it, Liara felt a sensation she had not felt in weeks. Movement. Tears streamed down her face, this time freely. She moved her legs slowly at first, but with growing confidence. Ethan smiled. "See? You're stronger than you think." For the next few hours, Ethan helped Liara navigate the scrapyard. They moved carefully, avoiding unstable piles of metal and the scavenger creatures that prowled the area. Liara began to feel a sense of hope she had not felt since being abandoned. She learned quickly, picking up how to control the exosuit, and with Ethan's guidance she even managed to climb over some smaller debris piles. But danger was never far. The scrapyard was monitored by drones that belonged to Liara's family. They had been sent to make sure she never left. As they moved through the scrapyard, a drone detected them and sent out an alert. Ethan knew they had little time. "Liara," he said urgently, "we need to move faster. They'll send more drones soon." Liara nodded, determination replacing her fear. She had survived this long, and now she would not let them take her again. Together they sprinted, Ethan using his strength and experience, Liara using the exosuit to propel herself forward. They ducked behind metal piles, avoided collapsing machinery, and finally made it to the edge of the scrapyard. Just as they thought they were safe, a loud whirring noise came from above. More drones were approaching. Ethan grabbed Liara's hand. "Hold on tight. I have an idea." He activated a small EMP device, disabling the drones in a shower of sparks. The machines crashed into the metal piles, giving them the chance to escape. Liara felt exhilaration and fear at the same time. She was still weak, still injured, but she had survived, thanks to this human who had risked his life for her. Finally, they reached a small cave at the edge of the scrapyard. Ethan helped Liara inside and examined her condition. "You need rest," he said. "And food. We'll figure out the rest later." Liara looked at him with gratitude she could not put into words. Why are you helping me?" she asked, her voice trembling. Ethan shook his head, smiling softly. "Because someone has to. Because humans believe in helping others, even when it's hard. You deserve a chance to live, Liara. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." As night fully descended, Liara rested in the cave. The exosuit hummed softly, keeping her stable, and for the first time in weeks she felt safe. Outside, the scrapyard was quiet again, but the threat of her family's bounty hunters remained. She knew the danger was far from over, but with Ethan by her side, she had hope. She drifted into a restless sleep, dreaming of a world beyond the scrapyard, a world where she could walk, explore, and live freely. And somewhere deep inside, she realized that humans, despite being strangers and outsiders, carried a strength that could change lives. In the distance, beyond the scrapyard and the horizon of rust and metal, Ethan's ship waited, ready to take them away from this place. But Liara knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders, and now she would face it with someone who believed in her, someone who showed her what humanity could truly be. And so, as the first light of dawn touched the jagged edges of the scrapyard, Liara's journey began, not just to survive, but to reclaim her life and prove that even when abandoned, hope could be found in the most unexpected places. Liara woke to the soft hum of Ethan's ship. The sun had not yet fully risen, but the light filtered through the small viewport, casting a gentle glow on her face. Her exosuit, now fully adjusted and integrated with her body, allowed her to move more freely than she had in weeks. For the first time, she felt a spark of independence, even though she knew she still needed Ethan's guidance. Ethan stirred beside her, his eyes scanning the instruments on the ship's console. "Good morning," he said, glancing at her with a reassuring smile. "How are you feeling?" Liara tried to stand, testing the exosuit. It responded smoothly, supporting her weight as she took cautious steps. She smiled, a mixture of relief and pride. "Better," she said. "Stronger. I think I can manage now." Ethan nodded. "That's good. Today we start planning how to keep you safe. Your family will not give up easily, and there are more dangers out there." Liara's heart sank. She had hoped that leaving the scrapyard would mean safety, but she knew the galaxy rarely gave second chances. I'm ready," she said firmly. They left the scrapyard planet behind, traveling through asteroid fields and across empty stretches of space. Along the way, Ethan taught Liara how to operate the exosuit for navigation, balance, and even self-defense. He explained how the controls worked, how to make subtle adjustments, and how to anticipate movement. Slowly, Liara began to understand the mechanics and responded with quick, precise movements. She felt a thrill she had never experienced before, a sense of freedom mixed with empowerment. During their journey, Ethan told her stories about humans, how they had survived harsh environments, faced impossible odds, and often helped others without expecting anything in return. Liara listened, fascinated, and began to understand the strange but powerful human spirit. She realized that what she had experienced with Ethan was not luck, but the essence of humanity: courage, compassion, and ingenuity. Their first challenge came sooner than expected. Sensors detected a ship approaching rapidly, cutting through the void of space with deadly precision. Ethan identified it instantly. Her family sent bounty hunters, he said grimly. They tracked the signal from the scrapyard. We don't have much time. Liara's heart raced, but she steadied herself. What can we do? Ethan smiled faintly, confidence in his eyes. We improvise. That's what humans do. The bounty hunter's ship fired warning shots trying to disable Ethan's vessel. Ethan activated defensive shields and used evasive maneuvers, weaving through the debris of an asteroid belt. Liara's exosuit interface helped her control minor adjustments on the ship's systems, assisting Ethan. Together they became a synchronized team, a human and an alien girl fighting for survival. The pursuit intensified. The bounty hunters were skilled, their ship heavily armed, and Liara could see the determination in their targeting systems. She realized that escaping them would require more than speed. It would need creativity. Observing the patterns of their attacks, she suggested using the asteroid field to their advantage, predicting how the hunters would move. Ethan followed her advice, and with precise maneuvers, they led the pursuers into a dense cluster of asteroids, causing one of the enemy ships to crash. The others retreated, unwilling to risk the same fate. Liara felt a rush of excitement and relief. She had helped, she had contributed, and she realized that humans did not face challenges alone. They shared their strength with others. Ethan glanced at her, pride in his eyes. You're learning fast, he said. The next few days were spent finding a safe haven, a planet where Liara could rest and recover while remaining hidden. They landed on a small, lush world with forests, rivers, and rolling hills. It was a stark contrast to the scrapyard, a place where life thrived despite the harshness of the universe. Liara marveled at the greenery, the sound of flowing water, and the gentle breeze. She had never seen anything like it. Ethan helped her settle, building a small, secure shelter and providing nourishment. He explained the importance of patience and planning, teaching her how to use tools, how to reinforce her shelter, and how to stay alert without letting fear dominate her. Liara absorbed every lesson, her mind opening to new possibilities. But even in this peaceful setting, the shadow of her family remained. She knew they would not give up, and she feared the day they would come for her again. Ethan sensed her unease. Liara, he said gently, you don't have to face them alone. Humans face danger together, and so will we. I will not let them take you back to that cruelty. Her eyes glistened. For the first time she felt trust, not just in Ethan, but in the idea that humans could protect, guide, and inspire. She realized that hope was not an illusion, but a tangible force, one that could grow stronger with courage and action. Weeks passed. Liara trained with Ethan daily, learning not just to survive but to think strategically. She studied the galaxy's trade routes, communications, and the technology her family might use. She became faster, smarter, and more confident. Her exosuit became an extension of her body, and she discovered that even though her legs were paralyzed, her mind and ingenuity could overcome physical limitations. One day, while scouting the perimeter, Liara detected signals approaching. She knew immediately it was her family's forces. Ethan prepared the defenses, ready for confrontation. When the ships landed, a tense silence fell. Liara's family had expected her to be weak, helpless, and fearful. Instead, they saw a girl standing tall in her exosuit, accompanied by a human who radiated confidence and skill. Her father stepped forward, anger and disbelief in his expression. You dare defy us? He demanded. Liara met his gaze without flinching. You abandoned me, she said clearly. I am not yours to control. I will live my life my way. Ethan stood beside her, calm and unyielding. And if you try to hurt her, you will face consequences you cannot imagine, he said. A tense battle began. Her family's forces attacked, but Ethan's human tactics, combined with Liara's quick thinking and exosuit agility, allowed them to outmaneuver the attackers. Traps were set, maneuvers anticipated, and every attack was countered with precision. Liara disabled weapons, guided Ethan through hazards, and used the terrain to their advantage. The human's ingenuity shone brightly, turning what seemed like impossible odds into manageable challenges. By the end of the confrontation, her family's forces were defeated, retreating in humiliation and disbelief. Liara stood victorious not just physically but emotionally. She had proven that abandonment did not mean weakness and that courage, intelligence, and collaboration could overcome cruelty and oppression. In the aftermath, Liara turned to Ethan. I don't know how to thank you, she said, her voice filled with gratitude. Ethan shook his head. You don't need to. Humans help because it is who we are. You did the hard part. You faced your fear, learned, and fought back. I only guided you, Liara smiled. She felt a warmth in her chest she had never known. Hope, trust, and strength were no longer abstract ideas. They were real, embodied in the human who had risked everything for her. In the days that followed, Liara began to rebuild her life. She explored the planet, learned to manage technology and tools, and even started designing improvements for her exosuit. Ethan stayed as a mentor and friend, guiding her as she grew more confident and independent. One evening, as the sun set over the rolling hills, Liara stood on a small ridge, looking at the horizon. She remembered the scrapyard, the fear, the abandonment, and the pain. But now she also remembered hope, courage, and the humanity that had reached out to her when she needed it most. Ethan joined her, placing a hand on her shoulder. The galaxy is vast, he said. There will be challenges ahead, but you are ready. Remember, strength comes from within, and from those willing to stand by you. Liara nodded, her heart full. She had been abandoned, left to die, and forgotten, but humanity had shown her a different path. One of courage, compassion, and endless possibilities. She knew that with determination and guidance she could face anything the universe threw at her. As night fell and stars filled the sky, Liara and Ethan looked out together, ready to face the future. The abandoned alien girl had found a new family in a human, a mentor, and a friend. She had learned that hope and courage could come from the most unexpected places, and that sometimes humanity itself could be the greatest force in the galaxy. And so, with the stars above and the vast universe ahead, Liara's true journey began, a journey of discovery, strength, and the enduring power of humanity.